Hi, I'm Paul, and today I'm going to be breaking down Lahlia Cole's Gym Body remix, and this is Behind the Beat.
Take it right there. We can make it good. We can Stay on the top of your hood. From. I can take it right there. I can take it right there.
So I remember when the song was out, I was like, this is a sick song, and I was talking to Rion, like, yeah, man, you need to like do more with this or something, and that was like the just that little conversation we had. And then later on, since I've done remixes for like other people, like some artists in the Birmingham scene, I remember Kieran, like Lalia's manager, reached out to me like, would you want to do a remix? And I was like, of course, man. Don't even have to ask me twice. So the process from there on, it was like, here's the acapella. We're kind of aiming for a specific release window, and it wasn't anything set back then, but I was like, I'm ready to work on this right now. So that's how it initially came about. So of course we have the original vocal here,
If I leave right now, I'm missing you. Boy, I wanna do the unthinkable. Can't lie.
and then I was like, all right, I want it to be kind of fast with like the hi-hats and stuff, so the hi-hats are doing that,
Strangers in a crowded room.
and then the kick is just like a 1 2 3,
Maybe you don't care,
1
but I
2,
like you. Here
1
in my
2.
auto.
It's like a very weird pattern, but now at the same time kind of noticeable that it's so like you would know it's not 4 and 4, but it's kind of like that. And then the snare is every time like
Stay on the top
there.
of your hood. From. I can take it right
Underneath the
there.
snare is like a
I can take
little
it right there.
additional snare that's very like blown out and kind of distorted in the background. The drums are like, since like I produce more hip hop and R&B and stuff, it's always an integral part to keep that going and like have that be like the forefront, the main character of a song. Sometimes it doesn't need to be, but like with remixes, I'm always trying to make that as a thing because that needs to just stand out. It's gonna hit. It's gonna like you're gonna want to hear it loud. You want the bass to hit. So for that, I'll turn on the bass as well. But the groove is just like very simple. It's the hi-hats are carrying it, but at the same time, like the syncopation of the snare as it comes in there, it only comes in like after the bar, not fully. It doesn't do like clack, clack, clack. It only does it like at the very end, just because it's a nice pattern to have. You wouldn't expect it because you want like you want to expect it like it'll be every 4/4, but it won't be. So the hi-hat kind of makes up for that kind of movement where you would expect the snare to be. I think more people should do that. Less snares on the track, but just make it really punchy. Just let everything else carry it, man. Less is more sometimes. I would say like if we touch on the thing of like remixes, right? It's more open, and I just kind of just go with the flow a bit more. It's not there's no set thing. Like if one thing drives something, with like this song, it was mostly to do like I want the groove to be just bouncy. Like the original tempo was I think 100 or 110, and this is 110 as well. So if that's the same, I forgot. Sorry, Rian. But yeah, it's just like something. I find one thing, and that just kind of dictates the groove, and then from there on, it was just I'm gonna make the drums like really hard, and then let that be complemented with everything else. And to complement that, if I go back to like the bass from the start,
If I leave right now, I'm missing you. Boy, I wanna do the unthinkable. Can't lie.
you can hear like that EQ'd bass, and it's just there to like open up the song. And as soon as it kind of gets into the drop, you kind of hear it fully come out. And there's some effects with like some arps and stuff. Little things in the background just like create textures. And then when that hits, it's like pretty insane. Well, with like a remix, I try and just like push it a bit more and kind of just take more freedom. I'm like, okay, you have your original song. Let me just go a bit more quirky and do some weird things to it. Because when I made this song, the remix for it, when I showed it to them, they were like, "What even is this?" Like Rion said, this is this is like a whole new genre called cyber. I was like, it might sound like that, right? So I just take a bit more of a like a experimental approach to it, something that they're not gonna do. So I think that's the main difference. And then original is more like, here's something that we're working on, something that you kind of dictate more. Whereas remix, I just go for crazy. So for texture wise, it was just like here's an ARP sound that I use. I use a lot of GMS on FL Studio because like that's the native plugin and people sleep on that heavily. So I think you should kind of explore that more. FL users and every other user of DAWs look into that more. But yeah, it was just here's some little things in the background there that kind of like little sine wave stuff and like delays and things. Just make it pretty and then just put it across the whole track. And then some sine wave here, that's a little distortion thing. Yeah. I thought that would be nice. And then just that with everything else just keeps building. Oh, and the vocal. And then like a little, that ARP comes in, which is complementing the other things in the back. And just more things to kind of surround that. And then when it comes down to like the chorus and stuff, we have like the synths and the backing vocals. Take your time, have you done this? Do you do this often? Give it up to me, never stop it. So with the synths, I didn't do like crazy things. It was just like I wanted it to sound very high and kind of very like not trancey, but very like out there in terms of like atmosphere. And I just kept layering them with like different sounds, but like the same kind of chords. When it progressed into the verse and stuff, kind of just dropped out the bass, made it a bit more like flat to kind of give it like space, and then back into the chaos again. And then around like this part, there's a little dropout that I do. Just a very subtle thing to kind of like add more, variation to it. Because the song is like pretty much straightforward. It's not like, I'm not Mozart here, but just trying to do things to keep the energy up and keep like the whole groove going. We have like the outro of this part is very interesting because before I didn't have anything to put there. I was like, it sounds like it needs something, like a lead or something. And then that lead kind of just came out of nowhere. It was like complementing the vocals that she was singing as well. So you can hear that part. At the first part, it was just like one lead. And I'm like, how can I make it sound good? Harmonize. And then harmonize. And then everything else. Kind of just like really complemented it really nicely. I think that was like the final touch I added to the song. And yeah, that was when I knew, okay, I should stop adding more things. And then I just like let that go. Because that's also an important thing with like, you have to figure out, okay, is the song done now? Do I need to add more? Because you can overproduce, man. Like you can heavily overproduce it. Everyone knows that. But if you're okay with your sound selection, if you understand this is what's gonna fit the vibe, this is what's gonna fit the sound that you put before, I think you get to a point where you start to understand more about like, okay, the song is nearing completion. I think the most important thing is like knowing the knowledge of like frequency, because you want it to complement. If you have everything in the same kind of frequency, it will kind of clash. It's like adding a guitar and a vocal at the same time. It's gonna like not work out if you don't mix it well. So if you just kind of remember the sound selection where everything can fit and kind of you mix as you go, the song will come out better, and then the mixing won't have to be that tough. So it's just a rule that you have to kind of understand. The more you experiment with it, the more you like look into it, I guess that's how sound selection grows, and you understand more what fits and what doesn't. We unfinished like the mixing and mastering of it at the end, because I have like a master chain, but Kieran was like, we should get it mastered, and so Rion handled that. Shout out to Rion, which he also produced the original beat as well. So yeah, he's crazy. Favorite part of this song, I'd say when the drums and the bass, like that really sets off everything. Like if I put everything on, like it's just the bass and the drums are just hitting, and everything else just kind of complements it nicely. The pads, little effects in there, and just like even the background vocals, everything. Yeah, the kick and the bass from a hip hop producer, of course. What else would you expect? So this has been me breaking down Lahlia Cole's Gym Body remix, produced by me, of course. And thank you for watching.